question again.
So, the Great Depression ended with World War II. Do you have any memories from that?
Yes, I do. I do have a lot of good memories from that. We, it was 1941 when Franklin Delano Roosevelt declared war or joined the Allies to fight Europe and Japan. And it was a time when the government, everything was, what am I trying to say? They didn't let everybody buy everything. And the cars had stickers on them, A, B, or C. And that told everybody what they could buy. On a stamp A, then they could buy certain things. On C, more, or B, more. And C, my father had C because there again, he had the seed store that the government needed to feed people. And so he was very, very lucky with that. Also, your great-grandfather and great-great-grandfather invented a sugar cure. At that time, there were no freezers, and they had to keep the meat, you know. So they invented this malt sugar cure that went on the hams and the bacon, slabs of bacon, and it wasn't sprayed on. That again was not until later. They had to pat this on the meat, this sugar and salt. A lot of salt because that would dry the meat out and keep it, moist too. So anyway, they invented that, and the farmers, of course, then could supply people with the hams and what they didn't need with hams or bacon. So people in that area really didn't go hungry because it was a farming area. And also they invented a sausage seasoning, which the farmers they'd have tubs of ground pork meat, and then they would mix this seasoning in it, and that would be their sausage, and believe me, it was delicious. So, and then again, we had the farm out there with my grandfather, my grandfather. And I remember that they had metal. The government wanted metal to help make artillery and everything for the weapons for our soldiers. And so they had bins around where you could toss your extra metal. And that's when on Saturday mornings we could take a pan or something from our mother's cupboard that was metal, and if we had brought a pan, we didn't have to pay anything. That was free. The movie was free. And so you can imagine my mother lost quite a few pans at that time. I remember that I was trying to think of what else. They also had the women going to work in these plants because the men were overseas fighting. So they had the women come in, and there was a lot of, there was a picture of Rosie the Riveter, and that showed that the women were back working. It showed this young woman with her sleeves rolled up, like she was working, and they took the place and helped build the machinery, to fight in the war. And I'm trying to think of what else we had that I remember, but we all worked together. Everyone was doing the same things. Mother and I went to the Red Cross Center and rolled bandages, and I knitted sweaters for our boys, and it was just the whole nation, just after that declaration of war, we just got together and just worked, everyone. And it was a good feeling to know that we were all working for one cause. And I think that's about it. If you have any specific questions, I'll try to answer them. But I do remember when VE Day, that was the victory in Europe, came, I don't remember where I was with that. Of course, we celebrated that. But then when VJ, Victory in Japan came, VJ Day, I was in college, and they called all of the students together in front of the administration building and told them that the war was over in Japan. It was victory in Japan. And of course we all shouted and hurrahed. And so it was a interesting time. I was glad that I could live through it. When the boys came home, a lot of times the women stayed in those jobs, and so the men, some of them didn't have their old jobs, and it was kind of hard for them to find money to support their family. So FDR started a program of the WPA, the Work Projects Administration. And the government paid small salaries, not a lot, but enough for the men to be able to, feed their families. And the men were doing work like clearing land, building bridges, working with crops, trying to plant crops, and all kinds of little things that they could do for the country and get paid for it. Because as we went on, then times got better, and then it was easier for everyone to eat. So that NWPA project was dropped after that. So I don't know is there anything else you need